Hollywood friendships are rarely what they seem. Outwardly, it's all red carpets, soft smiles, and perfectly posed photos. Behind closed doors, though, it's a chessboard, and if you're not careful, you get played. Jennifer Lawrence has always been the kind of star people root for. Relatable, grounded, brutally honest. She's the one who tripped on the Oscars stage and made it iconic, the A-lister who could cry on cue in a Dior gown and eat pizza in the back of a press van an hour later. So, when whispers surfaced that Blake Lively had allegedly crossed a line with Jennifer, fans didn't want to believe it, but they should have. What began as a creative collaboration between two of Hollywood's most bankable women has slowly spiraled into something darker. Jennifer isn't laughing anymore. This isn't about ego. It's about betrayal, behind-the-scenes sabotage, and a woman who knows how to burn bridges without letting the smoke reach the press. This is allegedly how Blake turned one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses into collateral damage, all to protect her brand. It started with a script, a female-led psychological thriller with Oscar buzz potential and a top-tier production team already attached. Jennifer had been loosely tied to it since 2021. Blake wasn't even in the conversation, at least not initially. But in Hollywood, the right connections don't just open doors, they can rewrite destinies. Sources say Blake's team pushed hard to get her involved, not as a co-star, but as a producer. Her name wasn't on the original script, yet within weeks it appeared on new drafts. At first, Jennifer didn't feel threatened. "She's smart," Jen reportedly told a colleague. "She's not really my competition." But Blake wasn't just joining the project, she was reshaping it. A quiet shift began during table reads. Jennifer's character, originally morally complex and layered, started losing screen time. Monologues were trimmed, backstory softened, and strangely, Blake's supporting role expanded. Crew members recall subtle changes at first, a line here, a scene there, but soon, the entire movie seemed to revolve around Blake's character. Jennifer stayed professional, but confusion gave way to frustration, and frustration turned into being fed up. Jennifer allegedly tried to confront the producers, but with Blake wearing the producer hat and possibly leveraging connections, her concerns were dismissed. Then came the public ripple effect. Cryptic posts began circulating on X, formerly Twitter, from known gossip accounts. Fans speculated, rumors swirled, and the narrative shifted from a collaborative project to an alleged power play. Hollywood insiders whispered about manipulation, backroom deals, and a quiet campaign to elevate Blake at Jennifer's expense. By the time social media caught on, the subtle undermining behind closed doors had exploded into a visible feud. Jennifer's fans noticed the shifts, questioned the changes, and began to voice frustration online. Meanwhile, Blake's name was attached to every new draft, every expanded scene, every credit bump. What was supposed to be a promising collaboration started to feel like a calculated takeover, and Jennifer's role as the lead was increasingly overshadowed. In the end, what seemed like a mutual creative effort reportedly became a cautionary tale. Even in Hollywood, star power can be weaponized. Friends can become competitors, scripts can become battlegrounds, and subtle moves behind the scenes can have enormous consequences. And Jennifer? She's reportedly learned that the glitz and glam of Hollywood hides a lot of maneuvering, and sometimes, even the brightest stars need to watch their backs. The subtext was clear even without names. Multiple posts on X said things like, "Wild how some actresses can walk into a film mid-development and reshape it around themselves. Must be nice to have a husband with studio leverage. Oscar winner sidelined by America's sweetheart. She deserves better." We all saw the script leaks. The shade in this press tour is delicious. Can't wait for someone to snap. Jennifer Lawrence stayed quiet, but during an early press interview, she gave a now-viral smile and said, "Some people act, others perform." Fans didn't catch it at the time, but now that clip is being replayed with a completely new perspective. If the script tensions were the first strike, the Dior incident was the second, far more personal. Jennifer had been a Dior ambassador since 2012. It was more than a brand deal, it was central to her public image. So when Dior announced a fragrance campaign originally discussed with Jennifer's team, but Blake Lively ended up as the face, eyebrows were raised. Insiders suggest Blake's team pitched a last-minute empowerment angle conveniently aligned with the campaign's revised vision. Jennifer wasn't just replaced, she was erased from the conversation entirely. And still, she said nothing, no subtweets, no shady interviews, no walkouts from the film. She stayed, but that wouldn't last. As production progressed, whispers turned into open tension. Jennifer allegedly became more vocal behind closed doors. The rewritten script now heavily favored Blake's character, so much so that Jennifer reportedly barely recognized the film she'd signed on for. The tipping point came with one pivotal scene, the emotional climax of Jennifer's character arc. It was cut without warning or rewrite. When Jennifer asked why, a production assistant reportedly told her it didn't align with the new vision. Blake allegedly added, "It made your character seem too complex." Too complex. That was the last straw. Jennifer reportedly didn't yell or storm off. She simply stared for a moment and said, "If I'm not telling that story, then I'm not telling any of it." Then she walked out. The next day, Blake was seen entering a private studio in West Hollywood alone. Jennifer never returned to set. Officially, she stepped away for creative differences. Unofficially, Blake had achieved exactly what she wanted, a solo project where her role dominated and the Oscar-winning lead was sidelined. Hollywood insiders now talk about the incident as a masterclass in subtle manipulation and strategic positioning. A collaborative project between two of the biggest names in the industry became a cautionary tale. Even the brightest stars are vulnerable when power and influence shift behind the scenes. For Jennifer Lawrence, it was a lesson in knowing when to walk away. For Blake Lively, it was a calculated, if controversial, victory. Blake Lively enjoyed the spotlight, a sanitized narrative, and no one challenging her on-screen presence. At least, not in that moment. The story could have ended there, but Hollywood doesn't forget, and neither do publicists. Shortly after Jennifer Lawrence's exit, two major film critics with long-standing ties to Dior and A24 posted vague statements on X. Loyalty in this town is as rare as authenticity. Some actresses choose silence. Others choose strategy. First came the Baldwin situation, and now this. What was really going on behind Blake's PR curtain? The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as Blake was being publicly praised for her performance in the reworked film, the Justin Baldoni court drama exploded across headlines. Leaked court transcripts, hushed allegations of backdoor deals, and rumors of Ryan Reynolds distancing himself in interviews started trending on social media. While Blake's PR team scrambled to control the fallout from Baldwin's legal firestorm, Jennifer's silence began to feel less like restraint and more like calculated strategy. A month later, Jennifer resurfaced at a private film festival in Telluride, seated next to Florence Pugh, an actress known for refusing to play Hollywood games. They posed for a single photo, which sent gossip blogs into overdrive. In the image, Jennifer's phone screen was partially visible, and fans claimed it showed an OpenX Twitter app with a post reading, "Some people only thrive when others are silent." No one could verify it, but the screenshot was blown up, enhanced, and reposted with red circles and zooms, and went viral. A week later, Jennifer quietly posted a blurry Polaroid on Instagram showing a script cover. Fans assumed it was the original version of the Blake Lively project, now produced independently under Jennifer's creative direction. The Telluride appearance was subtle, but Hollywood noticed. A few actresses quietly unfollowed Blake on Instagram, silent moves but significant. Even Natalie Portman, previously vocal in support of Blake, reportedly began distancing herself. In Hollywood, quiet gestures often speak louder than press releases, and Jennifer's calculated silence and subtle signals were sending a clear message. Power and influence don't always come from being the loudest in the room. In interviews, Natalie Portman was seen subtly avoiding Blake at a charity gala, caught in a now viral clip turning away when cameras panned their way. Then came the podcast moment. Ryan Reynolds, making a surprise guest appearance on a late-night podcast, was asked a throwaway question about PR dynamics in Hollywood. He smirked, paused, and said, "Let's just say not every power couple is built on truth." The clip blew up. He never named Blake, but no one needed him to by this point. The Blake Lively PR machine was struggling to keep pace. Jennifer, meanwhile, had maintained complete silence until a sit-down interview for an unrelated indie film. When asked, "How do you handle women in the industry who twist things in their favor?" she calmly replied, "Controlled, calm, and laced with shade. Survival doesn't require sabotage. Not everyone learns that." The interviewer chuckled awkwardly. Jennifer did not. Fans exploded. Fan edits, thread theories, and side-by-side comparisons of the original film versus Blake's final edit flooded social media. TikTok users analyzed chopped scenes, scrutinized body language at press tours, and even decoded wardrobe choices for hidden messages. The media, previously quiet, suddenly caught fire. Entertainment Weekly ran a headline, "Jennifer Lawrence's Quiet Revenge: Why Her New Film Might Be a Takedown." Other outlets followed, filling Google News with speculation. Reddit threads dissected timelines, contract changes, campaign swaps, and, most damningly, resurfaced a clip of Blake on a panel saying, "If you don't like the script, rewrite it. Who's going to stop you?" Fans picked sides. Blake's comment sections filled with snake emojis, cryptic messages, and harsh criticism. Meanwhile, Jennifer stayed silent, focused, and moved forward. Months passed. Jennifer quietly advanced her career with poise and precision. Blake, in contrast, was still grappling with the PR fallout of their film. Just as the dust seemed to settle, a new casting announcement reignited tension. A high-profile streaming thriller, a prestige ensemble project rumored to rival Big Little Lies, revealed its core cast: Jennifer Lawrence, Florence Pugh, Emma Stone, and notably absent, Blake Lively. Not even considered. The message was clear. Blake's attempts to dominate the narrative, control projects, and manipulate relationships had backfired spectacularly. Jennifer had quietly reclaimed agency, executed a masterclass in strategic silence, and cemented her position in Hollywood's inner circle. Blake, meanwhile, was left on the outside, watching the industry move forward without her. This project had originally been pitched to Blake's team 2 years prior. She passed, reportedly insisting on a producer credit. The studio declined. Jennifer, by contrast, accepted immediately with no demands. She simply wanted the work to speak for itself. Industry insiders saw this as emblematic. Blake's manufactured control, her PR empire, her grip on projects, was slipping. Jennifer's return to ensemble acting, especially surrounded by actresses known for loyalty and craft, felt intentional, a deliberate assertion of power that didn't rely on backroom deals, manipulations, or narrative control. Rumor has it that Jennifer's next project may involve someone Blake had clashed with before, someone who understood the game and was finally poised to flip the script, a figure Blake had once tried to erase but couldn't. The true knockout moment arrived at the Cannes Film Festival. Jennifer and Florence Pugh walked the red carpet together for the new film's global pitch. Jennifer wore Dior. Florence wore custom Valentino. Midway through their posing session, reporters shouted, "Would Blake Lively have fit in this cast?" Jennifer paused, glanced at Florence, smiled, and said, "We chose actors who respected the story." TikTok erupted. Within 24 hours, the clip had over 3 million views. Fans analyzed every detail: body language, tone, and subtle shade. Meanwhile, Blake remained silent, though a now-deleted post from her brand's official account did not go unnoticed. It read simply, "Let them talk. We're still building." Fans weren't impressed, particularly when the Justin Baldoni court documents leaked, revealing Blake had intervened in a 2023 production deal behind Justin's back. Caught between damage control and loyalty, Ryan Reynolds didn't directly address the Jennifer situation, but he did like a tweet that read, "Silence is often the loudest scream." Observers pieced it together. Reynolds' subtle endorsement after Jennifer's shade suggested a real-life Gone Girl arc unfolding. 3 weeks later, Jennifer gave a long-form interview with a French magazine. The piece highlighted her career comeback and directing ambitions, but one question made her pause. If she could say something to someone who mistreated her during a creative process, what would it be? Jennifer's answer: nothing. If they were worth the words, they wouldn't have needed the silence. No press tour, no public feud, just strategic silence, deliberate action, and a Hollywood industry taking careful notes. Jennifer didn't need to shout. She simply waited. And when she finally moved, the impact was undeniable, precise, and unforgettable, a masterclass in quiet power, patience, and long-term strategy. Blake's influence waned. Jennifer's rose. The message was clear. Control the narrative subtly, and the world will notice, even if your opponent is still talking.